In the winter it's too cold, in the summer it's too hot. We're always complaining about something, you know? If you're speaking about the weather, they can live in New England, because people that live in regular climates where the weather's nice, they don't speak about it much. But by us, there's always something. In any case, good afternoon. So, you know, since October 7th, we've been witnessing this total disconnect between the way Israel views Hamas and Hezbollah and how to deal with them, and the way the Western world views it, even America. And it's something that's very dangerous. Very dangerous for the future of the Western world, as we see what's going on in France and in Belgium and in London, where we don't know what that trajectory will be in 20, 40 years, or even less. And America is the last line of defense against this radicalization. And I want to share with you a thought on the portion and then turn back to this and maybe explain it for a minute. In this week's Torah portion, we begin the story. Balak, the king of Moab, was on the Transjordan. He was worried that the Jewish people were coming for him next. And he saw the Jewish people were victorious against everyone. What's he going to do? He says, I'm not going to win them with the war. They won everyone else. He says, let me use their language, their way. They have a prophet, Moses. Let me get a prophet too. And he calls Bilam to curse the Jewish people. And when the messengers from Balak come to Bilam, Bilam says, listen, guys, sit tight. I'm going to stay overnight. Tradition has it that Bilam, since he wasn't a prophet on the caliber and the level of Moses, only spoke to God in a dream. He says, wait till the night comes and I'll see what God says. And of course God tells him, don't go with the people, not a chance. You can't curse the Jewish people, don't go. So they leave. Balak thinks, maybe what's really happening is that Bilam wants more distinguished messengers. So he sends even greater messengers and they come back. Maybe that's because Bilam actually insinuated, but that's a whole different discussion on the Bible. And they come again, and this time again, Bilam says, didn't I tell you last time? I got to do what God says. What do you want from me? And he says, wait, again tonight, maybe, let me see again. And God comes to Bilam again in the night, and he tells Bilam, if they came to call you again, go. But whatever I tell you to speak, that's what you will say. And Rashi right away asked the comment that everyone else does. What's the difference between the first time and the second time? Why the first time does God say, don't go? And the second time he says, if they're coming to call you, go. And Rashi says, God was saying like this. Bilam, if you're just going to curse the Jews, then you can't go. But if they're paying you money, then go. But you'll have to say what I say. And the question is, what's Rashi's distinction here? Why is there a difference if you're getting paid or not? Shouldn't you never go to curse the Jews? What Rashi's telling us here is one of the deepest lessons that we need to realize as we fight and stand against radical Islam that wants to change the entire world and doesn't want to just destroy Israel, but wants to destroy America and the Western world. What Rashi's saying is like this. If someone's dispute with you is over money, then fine. If all you're going to curse is because you want to make a couple of dollars, then you don't mean it. You don't really hate the people you want to curse. You just want to make some money. So it's dealable. We can negotiate you. We can give you some money. We can figure it out. We can come to some peace process. That's it. But if you're just going because there's such an irrational hate and because you just want to fight them, that no. Because there's no cure for irrational hate. And God's teaching us through Bilam a powerful lesson. If Bilam's whole message was, I hate the Jews just because I hate them, that's a danger that we have to reckon with. If it's only about money, then that's different. And the commentaries say that's one of the reasons why does God said the donkey speaks. Why? And what God was telling Bilam is, if you're the type of leader who just says what people want to hear and what they pay you more, then you're like a donkey. What's the difference between you and a donkey? If you have no principles and you only tell them what they want to hear, not what you believe, then what value do you have? Think about what Israel's been dealing with the last 75 years with the Palestinians and the Arabs. The hate is so irrational. Think about Sinwar and death, and think about the 1,200 Jews that were killed by thousands of people who didn't even have an iota of compassion for any civilian, for any baby. Their hate is so ingrained, is so deep, is so irrational, There's no cure. It's not like you could give them money, you could make peace with them. And that's what happened every time we left Gaza and we thought we were making peace. Everything's going to be fine. And look what happened. We left the Sheba farms in Lebanon and we thought we'll make peace. We'll give them money. We'll give them prosperity. We'll make sure they have enough money. One of the major philosophies that Israel had with Gaza for the last 20 years was, listen, if we make sure that they prosper enough and they have enough affluence, then they're not going to want to risk it to kill. But what we didn't realize is what Rashi's telling us clearly, God was telling Bilam. If it's about money is one thing, but when the hate is so deep and so radical and so ideological and so irrational, then the only way is eradication. And that's why, agree with him or not, and of course now we're seeing in the last few weeks, and especially in the last week, that he might be right. Netanyahu said, we can't stop this war until we eradicate Hamas. We realize from our mistakes, and now we have to make sure that they are eradicated, because there is no hope of negotiations with a people so evil, so irrational, so destructive. And America said, well, don't go into Rafah, maybe speak to them, maybe negotiate. The only way they understand is with force. And that's why what Israel's doing now is forcing them to negotiate, because death is killed. They're obliterated. Sinwar is under Khan Yunis in the tunnels, and he doesn't know where to go. And he's losing his support even from his own people, and there's tremendous pressure. Even America is realizing this. Imagine if President Biden, instead of holding Israel up for 4 months from going into Rafah and doing what they actually did, he says that he stopped them from something bigger, but he didn't. They did exactly what they wanted to. And imagine if they would have done it 4 months earlier and cut off the arms from the Philadelphia route and eradicated Hamas and Rafah, then maybe this war could have been over already. And it wouldn't be the headache it's going to be for President Biden at the Democratic Convention in Chicago. So my friends, let's take this message to heart and let's listen to the Israeli government and to those experts who deal with this. And let England and France and Belgium listen carefully. If you think you could appease irrational hate and radicalization, you're thinking wrong. And it's time to make a 180-degree turn and show strength and non-negotiation when it comes to our values. God bless you.